Hello and welcome everyone. Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of the best games released this year, and I'm sure many of you watching probably finished the game and you're eagerly waiting for the Separate Ways DLC to come out. But there's still much more you can do in this game that will keep you hooked for many hours. So without any further ado, let's get started. Mercenaries mode was released in the form of a free DLC a few weeks after the game was launched, and if you haven't tried it yet, you really should. You get to play as 4 different characters, each with their custom weapons and abilities, on 3 different maps. Leon probably has the best weapon loadouts out of all the characters, while Krauser's knife and transformation are a real game changer. And there is Hunk, who only has an SMG, but it's really powerful, and you can also snap enemies' necks to insta-kill them. And this includes mini-bosses like the Chainsaw Guys or Chainsaw Ladies. And there is Lewis. Well, he doesn't have the best loadouts, nor the best ability, but who needs guns when you've got an iron bar that could have made King Arthur proud? It's really a fun mode to play, especially trying to get a score of 1 million on every map, which is not that hard to do. And if you like it, you can try to be competitive with it. I highly recommend giving it a chance for those of you who didn't play it much. Getting all the achievements/trophies. This game has some pretty good achievements. They're not the hardest nor the easiest to get, but they provide some really good challenges. For example, there's a No Merchant achievement, which was a pretty common challenge in the original game, and more like the Minimalist challenge where you beat the game using only the knife and handguns, and much more like the Frugalist, the S+ challenge. It may take you a couple of playthroughs to get them all done, but you can do them in just 2 playthroughs if you know what you're doing. It's really a fun thing to do, even if you're not into achievement hunting or anything, so why not give it a try? New Game Plus. New Game Plus is always a nice thing to have on any game, and this game is no different. You get to start over from the beginning of the game with all your weapons, upgrades and charms, allowing you the chance to fully maximize your arsenal. Normally, you wouldn't be able to do that in the first playthrough, even if you collect all treasures and S-rank all the target practice missions. And of course, you can just completely obliterate the first few enemies and bosses who gave you a hard time the first time around. You can also use different costumes that you unlocked after you beat the game the first time, and overall, it's nice to play the game like this once in a while. Professional. If you found the last one too easy, check out this one. When you beat the game the first time, you unlock a new difficulty called Professional, which of course means tougher enemies and fewer resources, and some prices are even higher. But the things that make it much harder is that you can do perfect parries only. That means you're only able to do parries in the last second before you get hit. And also there is no autosave and no checkpoints at all. So if you save the game and play through many chapters, if you just die once, you'll go back to the last time you saved, no matter how long ago it was. This is especially hard when you're trying to get the S+ rank on Professional, which requires you to beat the game in under 5.5 hours and a maximum of 15 saves in total. This one is really good if you're looking for a challenge that'll keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time. Unlocking the bonus weapons and items. There are many things to unlock after you beat this game once, and most of them are definitely worth trying, like the Primal Knife for example. It's the original knife from Resident Evil 4, and the special thing about it is that it has unlimited durability, and you can unlock it by destroying all Clockwork Castellans. You know, these little Salazar toys. And there are more weapons like the Infinite Rocket Launcher, the Hand Cannon, the Chicago Sweeper, and a few more costumes and accessories like the cat ears and Ashley's armor, and much more. Some of them has gameplay benefits and some does not, but they are definitely worth trying out and would make the second playthrough of this game much more enjoyable. Speedrunning. If you have done most or all of the things I said earlier and you feel like you know the game pretty well, challenge yourself to do a speedrun. Most Resident Evil games have really good speedruns, and this one is no different. Test your knowledge and reflexes and just how good you are in the game. And I'm not talking about beating the game in less than 5 hours like the S+ challenge. I'm talking about trying to beat the game in under 2 hours with the timer on and the speedrun strats and everything. You'd be surprised how challenging it is to do most of them, especially on a run where some silly mistakes could cost you a lot of time and potentially kill your run. But don't worry, there are many categories you can choose from. You can try to do a run in New Game Plus, which is usually easier to do, especially when you're just starting. Or you can just start a new game and test your limits in there. Many people continue to play their favorite games for years after their release, just because they run these games, and they're constantly improving their time, changing their strategies, and just keeping the game alive for long periods of time. And if you want to start, you can just watch the world record on speedrun.com and join the Resident Evil 4 speedrun Discord. They can help you with anything you need in there, and it's very rewarding to practice the game for a while and finally getting a good time at it.
You really are the best.
Mods. This one is not for everyone, it's for PC players only. But if you do play this game on PC and haven't tried mods yet, you should definitely do. You can find a variety of mods that will make the game worth playing again. There are mods that can give you new costumes, weapons, trainers, almost anything you'd think of. There are even mods that make the game harder by changing enemies' locations and key items locations and adding more enemies. Kinda like the Mad Chainsaw mod on the demo if you ever played that. And of course there are silly and goofy mods like always on every game that gets released on PC.
Lady, you're a miserable, ugly person. Wow, I just seen the ugliest woman in the world.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You can just get lost browsing these mods, let alone trying them. And you should definitely do, it's really easy to install. And you can remove them pretty easily as well, so there is no reason not to try them. Finally, if you want more Resident Evil 4, you can always go back to the original game and see the difference between the two of them. It's always a pleasant experience to visit old games for a nostalgia trip, especially this one because it's really good. And I know there are some people who played the remake and did not play the original, so I highly recommend giving it a try. It's still very playable, and if you find the graphics to be a little old, there's a mod on PC called the HD Project, which makes the game look much better down to the smallest details. There's also this mod on the original Resident Evil 4 called the Word S mod. It's a complete makeover of all the maps in the game, so it's completely new. Every map, every area is new. There's even new enemies. Every map on this mod looks really amazing. The developer has put a lot of time into it and it looks really fantastic, so I highly recommend you try it. So that's it guys for this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more content. I would love to hear your suggestions and ideas for future videos, so feel free to let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to check out my comparison between the OG weapons and the remake weapons. Thanks for watching, until next time, peace.